Hey guys, this is Mario again, coming at you with another movie review. Today's movie is a film that I saw via Netflix, the DVD one, which this is going to be the last couple of weeks I'm going to have this one of it, because a lot of you know Netflix is now double charging for both instant streaming and for the disc, so it's having something for each instead of together for both, so we're getting rid of the disc one and keeping the streaming one, which people wonder, Netflix is going to wonder why in the long run they might lose business. That's why. People liked it better before. Well, at least they're not changing their names to go with each service. That was a stupid idea. Oh, anyway, the movie that I'm going to be directing, as you can tell, is the '89 film, which I want to see if it came. Oh, it came out. Yeah, it came out a couple months before I turned a year. It is, of course, the film Communion, starring Christopher Walken, Lindsay Crouse, Francis Sternhagen, and Andreas Katsoulas. It is based on the book of the same name by Whitley Strieber, and it's based on a supposed true story. Even though, the reason I say supposed is because not a lot of people believe this actually happened because of the stuff. Now, I haven't read the book, which I hear, though, that the book is better than the movie, which that usually is, but it's because you can make your own conclusions on what it is, the things that he saw at the cabin were, but the movie, it makes them seem like they're aliens, which, even with the cover of the original printing of the book, you could probably guess they might be aliens, but the book is written vaguer, a little bit vaguer, but the movie, it's an interesting movie, which I will get to its biggest flaw later. Now, the plot is that Strieber, he's a writer, but you know,
seem to write. Him and his family and a couple friends go up to a cabin that they own in upstate New York, and something weird happens. Like, they have these weird dreams. Like, Strieber has something where he sees something looking in his room, and then these strange lights, and their friends want to leave because of something, and they leave. They take them back, and Strieber seems to think something happened to him or something, because he starts to like see stuff. And it gets even worse the second time they go back up to the cabin around Christmas. Because then something else happens and he pulls out a gun. So he decides to go see a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist specializes in rape trauma, so you could tell that there's something going to help with this hidden thing. And as we discover, apparently him and both his son were abducted by aliens, and tests were performed on them. Now the way we find out that they were abducted by aliens is kind of interesting, because the movie builds up to it. I mean, when the stuff happens, like we see the first gray alien near the beginning during the first thing, and then see the lights, but it's not until the hypnosis sessions, like, which are at the end of the second act, beginning of the third act, and then of course the famous thing at the end, "You're the dreamer, I am the dream," stuff like that, that we actually see a lot of it. Then of course his reaction, because he thinks he's hallucinating at one point, "I'm naked. I'm naked." It's just funny. And if I have to say, the biggest problem with this movie is the special effects for the aliens. I mean, like the doctor ones, their suits, they look good, but the greys themselves, they look bad. They look like ventriloquist dummy greys. That's how bad they look. You can tell they're like dime store knockoffs. And I'm gonna see how much money. Oh, that it only made about $2 million at the box office, so I want to know how much money this movie was made for. If it was made for about the same, then no wonder it is. Even for an '80s movie of this scale, that is kind of a low budget. If it had a bigger budget, not that I'm saying this movie should be remade, because it'd probably be worse. It would be interesting though. Maybe, I don't know, the remake, bad idea, but if the effects were better, then the movie would be better, because that's one of the things that people, when they watch this movie, like, oh, we're supposed to take that seriously. I take the story seriously even with the bad effects. I mean, the effects, it kind of like, oh god, but it doesn't kill the whole impact of the story. The highlight of this, of course, is Walken's performance. I mean, the rest of the actors, they do pretty good jobs, especially when Walken goes to the group meeting for other people who've been abducted by aliens and listens to their story. But as the way he's breaking down when he doesn't know what happens to him, and then when he tries to discover how he's trying to cope, it's a really convincing performance. I'm surprised he didn't get any award nominations for his performance, and it's kind of sad that Whitley Strieber doesn't like Walken's performance as himself, because I thought it was good. And it's one of the reasons I do want to read the book, so I could compare them. like I said earlier, the book is vaguer, but going with the whole thing of them being aliens I think works better, because being vague in a book is one thing because of how that medium works, but being vague in a movie, it won't work. It's when I get to the Judge Dredd movie, it's another thing that I'll talk about with there. It's the same concept. I know that comes out of nowhere, but just had it on my mind. Now, the whole thing about being abducted by aliens. Now, from understanding the book and partially in the movie, it makes it seem like it might have all been in his head, and if that's the case, it's weird why his son also would share the same dream and stuff. But as you a lot of you know, I do believe in aliens. And Wildman, if you're watching this, do not say anything. I know what you're gonna say. You believe in me? I don't know why I made him sound like Jimmy Stewart there. I don't know why. Yeah, Jimmy Stewart is an alien. Yeah, we're gonna abduct you. Yeah, we're gonna take you to the planet Stewart. And we're gonna probe you. Yeah. Hitchcock is the leader of our planet. You wondered why you had that voice? Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, I do believe in aliens, but whether or not they were actually aliens that abducted Strieber, that's harder to tell. Might have been in his mind, but if it was aliens, why would they choose a writer? And why would they do something to his penis? Because that's what it seems that they do in the movie. And then, of course, now that I mentioned it once but I haven't talked about it, the scene where Strieber goes to the group meeting, what the other people say, like the one that apparently the aliens took her fetus, that one is kind of moving, and the one where the husband wanted to get her committed, that one's kind of moving. Apparently he doesn't believe in aliens. Then the couple that got abducted, that one was interesting. That's another reason why I want to read the book, but from what I hear, some of the stuff in the movie was taken from the sequel book, so maybe that's one of the things that was taken from it. But like I said before, Walken's performance is amazing. I'm surprised he didn't get award nominations. And the thing with Strieber is he doesn't like Walken's performance, yet Strieber's the one that wrote the screenplay himself. So it's probably the director Felipe Mora, who probably the direction stuff he went with that he doesn't like. I'm gonna see what else this person has directed. Oh, he directed Howling 2. I'm seeing this that's related to the werewolf movies, The Howling. Yep, he directed Howling 2 and then Howling 3, if I'm looking at it right. Communion, that's about it, but another highlight of this movie is the score that was done by Eric Clapton. You could tell it's him even without reading the name, because it's, if you've seen Lethal Weapon, you know Clapton's guitar style. It's a very similar style, and if it's Walken's performance, the direction, and the score that really sell this movie. If you took one aspect out, the movie wouldn't work as good in my opinion. But all three of those things combined make it work. And the DVD I got from Netflix is a special one, so it has the features on the DVD like a removal of a supposed alien implant, which was an interesting watch. The theatrical trailers are interesting, but they don't really show much. There's a couple things I didn't watch on there. I guess I forgot to, but the features, they were pretty good. I would like to I wish there was like a commentary track with Walken and Strieber. That would be an interesting commentary track. Walken, you ruined the scene. I did not ruin this scene. Walken, why do you always do that? I do not know what you're talking about. You're doing it again. I do not know what you're talking about. And that's the thing, is his normal mannerisms, they're not really present in this movie except when he's like fooling around at times. Like, what are you in a suit? What are you communion suit for? Gonna go get some cigarettes. You don't smoke. Then of course when he's the whole "I'm naked" part. Other than that, he doesn't have the mannerisms, which is interesting to see. And it's a time waster of the movie. My rating for the movie, I'd have to give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not the best movie I've seen, but it's still a time waster, and I'll probably get it in my collection eventually. That's about it I have to say on the movie. And funny thing is, the 3 movies I'm going to be reviewing before the next 2 movies after this I'm reviewing both involve aliens as well. Kind of ironic.